see that 1 week from today. But we turn our attention now to a WBA light heavyweight championship contest, and in a very interesting contrast here, because you have Marvin Johnson, no doubt the hometown favorite, as he comes out of Indianapolis, Indiana, was born and raised here. He's a man who has held the title on 2 occasions, the WBC title once and the WBA title on another occasion. And then in each instance, he lost in his first title defense. And then in 1981, he took on Michael Spinks, was defeated by Spinks, who was to go on to become the undisputed light heavyweight champion. And when that happened, everybody figured Marvin Johnson was done. He'd had 2 chances. He'd won 2 titles. He'd lost them. He'd lost to Spinks. And even though he didn't announce any sort of retirement, he didn't fight for a year, and even boxing fans thought for the most part that Johnson was finished and would not come back to professional boxing. But indeed he has, and his fate would have it. Here he is fighting and trying to make history and trying to win the title for a 3rd time. His opponent is a relatively unknown commodity, and as much as not that many people have seen him fight, Leslie Stewart, who was born in Trinidad, lived there until he was 9 years old, and his family moved to London. He lived in England until he was 15, started boxing. His mother did not want him to box. He had several arguments with his mother about continuing in the sport, and thus wound up leaving home, moving back to Trinidad, continuing his career, and now he is working out of and training out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he has worked his way with an undefeated record into a position of contending today for the WBA light heavyweight championship of the world. Let's take a look right now at the tail of the tape as we take a look at some of the salient numbers regarding these 2 fighters. Johnson is 31 years old and Stewart is 24. The light heavyweight limit is 175 pounds, and so Stewart came in right at that mark. Johnson at 174. Stewart has a 2.5-inch height advantage and a 2 1/4-inch reach advantage. In the scheduled 15-round fight in Indianapolis, where I would estimate some 8,000 to 10,000 fans have gathered at Market Square Arena. Some excess tape, we understand, on the glove of Leslie Stewart, and that is the reason for the holdup right now, preparatory for the first round. Under WBA rules, a 15-rounder. Scoring in this one will be on the 10-point must system. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. If you go down for the 3rd time in 1 round, that's the end of the fight. There is a mandatory 8 count. No saving by the bell except in the last round, the 15th in this instance. The referee is from Italy. He does not speak English. Franco Priami. The judges are Kazumasa Kawata of Japan and John Coyle of Great Britain. 20-foot ring, 10-ounce Reyes gloves worn by the combatants. Johnson impatiently waiting for the excess tape to be removed from Stewart's glove, and then he has to have it retaped, so as they do some repair work, all Marvin Johnson can do is wait as he gets set for a chance to win the WBA light heavyweight championship. He's a man who will make about $100,000 today. His biggest payday some years back, $175,000, and then after he lost the title for the 2nd time, he was fighting for rather nominal sums. But back now in the spotlight, the crowd building, the crescendo enveloping Market Square Arena, and the bell for round 1. And Johnson, as he is prone to do, comes out very aggressively. He likes to get on top of you, and that's exactly the way he's come out, as he has Stewart backing up. Stewart is a more tentative type fighter. As we said, relatively an unknown commodity, but Johnson, a very known commodity, comes out like a whirlwind, a la the Johnson we've seen for years. And so at the age of 31, it's still Johnson trying to get on top of you, looking for that knockout. He's got an explosive left hand and a terrific uppercut. Stewart, if he can, would like to slow the pace. Johnson is not allowing it. Stewart indicated yesterday he would trade with Johnson if Johnson came out the way Marvin normally does, but Stewart is doing anything but trading with him right now. Johnson with that right hand, he does not have a rapier-like right jab. His right jab is more of a range-finding type of weapon. And a cut now near the right eye of Leslie Stewart. A cut has opened just outside the right eye of Leslie Stewart in the green trunks. Johnson pursuing and attacking. Stewart has spent the entire round with 1:20 left in this round backing up. Stewart trying to find his way off the ropes. Landing a pretty decent combination right there. A left followed by a right. So Stewart finally gets into the fray offensively, but the blood begins to stream down the right side of Leslie Stewart's face here in round 1 and about scheduled for 15. Johnson with that range-finding right, seeking the opening to the left hand. A typical Johnson-type first round. Aggressive, a lot of action, and damage. If you look live from Indianapolis, he's opened up that cut just outside the right eye of Leslie Stewart. Still pursuing. Still aggressive. 3 minutes of non-stop fury from Marvin Johnson. But Stewart fighting back. Fighting off the rope. Countering with a nice combination of his own. Johnson's knee starting to buckle. As Stewart gets back into the fray at the end of an explosive first round. And it's so noisy that nobody can hear the bell. The end of round 1. A great round with Marvin Johnson, so much like the Johnson of old, so much like the Johnson of the mid and late 70s, seeking that early knockout. And Stewart, who appeared not necessarily to be in a lot of trouble, but certainly not in the first round offensively to any extent, but had been backpedaling, was able to get off a good combination of his own at the very end. All of a sudden, that right hand, as he worked his way off the rope, stunning Johnson, who had spent the entire 3 minutes, or near 3 minutes at that point, assaulting and attacking. And Stewart showed that he will be no easy mark. Second round now. No doubt this pace could not be kept up for 15. I don't have to tell you that. Second round, WBA light heavyweight championship. As they worked on the cut, closing temporarily the gash on Stewart's right eye, outside the right eye. Using that right to try to create that opening, and then that uppercut, forcing him back against the ropes. He loves that uppercut. But Stewart showing he can counter, showing he can fight off the ropes. You would think the longer this fight goes, the better would be Stewart's chances. Not only because of the age factor. Stewart's 24, Johnson's 31. And the referee now coming in with a warning. Franco Priami warning Johnson for using his head. A minute into round 2. But not only the age factor will figure to benefit Stewart in a longer fight. Also, Johnson has not necessarily proven that he has great stamina even in the early stages of his career. So Stewart weathering the storm. Coming off the ropes brilliantly at the end of the first round. And now the pace slowing down just a tad here in the middle stages of round 2. Again, we mentioned you saw the referee Priani, the Italian who does not speak English. Johnson slowing down a bit here in round 2. There was no way you keep up the pace of round 1 very long. Again, nice combination against Stewart, backing up again. But Stewart can be tough when he's cornered. He has proven that on 2 occasions in the first 2 rounds. Perhaps you can hear the rhythmic beat of the drums behind us as several folks have come up from Trinidad to cheer their man on. It's a raucous Market Square Arena crowd solidly behind their man, Marvin Johnson in the white trunks, as he attempts to win a light heavyweight championship for the 3rd time. Nobody else has done that in the history of boxing. Coming up on 10 seconds left in the 2nd round, and they ring the bell early. 3rd round now, Marvin Johnson in the white trunks and Leslie Stewart in the green trunks for the WBA light heavyweight championship of the world. A furious first round, dominated until the very end by Johnson. The pace slowing somewhat in the 2nd round, but not that much. And Johnson again aggressively comes out in round 3. But Stewart showing good hand speed and effectively countering. Johnson is in pursuit. You're beginning to sense here in round 3 that if Leslie Stewart had some butterflies of sorts or some initial hesitation early on or was sort of confused even though he knows Johnson comes out that way, he's beginning to assert himself a bit more here, at least in terms of the way he's handling himself in the early stages of round 3. He did not let the cut panic him. He did not panic because of Johnson's aggression. And appears to be not necessarily in command here in round 3, but very much in the fight. This is not going to be a one-sided contest. We're having a slight problem with our clock, which is normally in the lower right-hand portion of the screen. I can tell you 1 minute and 20 remains now in the round, the 3rd of the scheduled 15. A good, short, quick combination by Stewart. And that snapped Johnson's head back. Marvin tries to counter with a couple of uppercuts, but Stewart is aggressively pursuing, moving, working on the body, and he is very much now in command. Johnson clawing and trying to keep Stewart away, but Stewart with those quick hands. Johnson a wild left hand at this. Stewart using that jab and looking for that opening. Moving, moving, moving. Circling now. Johnson's punches lacking the snap, the quickness that he had in round 1. Again to the beat of the drums from his neighbors in Trinidad, Leslie Stewart. Looking, waiting, flicking that left now. And a very confident look in the eyes now of Leslie Stewart as the 3rd round comes to an end in Indianapolis. You could sense a transition in this fight at the end of the 3rd round. It appeared that Leslie Stewart took command in that final minute of round 3. Johnson comes out aggressively here in the 4th round. Is warned again by the Italian referee Priami, who really has to resort to hand gestures because of his inability to speak the English language. Johnson takes another right hand from Stewart. He's trying to counter back, but Stewart fights very well off the rope. Johnson trying to hold on. Now Stewart is warned by the referee, pulling behind the head. Stewart again circling in the center of the ring. Johnson, through his career, has not really been the type who would get a second win. And I have to tell you, at ringside, there is no doubt that you could see the fading from round 1 to round 3, and even here in round 4. His punches just lack lacking the snap and the quickness that he exhibited early on. Johnson pursuing, but Stewart right now very much, I feel, on the brink of command of this fight. Johnson trying to work inside, but Stewart effectively blocks those blows, comes back with a good right hand, and he's doing some nice work on the body as well. He may not be very flashy, but Leslie Stewart exhibiting some very good skill. He is strong and he is quick. And he was able to weather that initial onslaught. And he did not let the antagonism of the pro-Johnson crowd affect him, which may sound like a funny thing to say, except we were told by some of those close to Stewart that he was very upset when in sparring sessions open to the public, he was booed by some locals last week. If you're going to let something like that bother you when you're sparring, what about when it's for real? So there was some question as to how the hostile crowd would affect him. Good right by Johnson. Marvin able to come back with a good right hook. 15 seconds to go in the fourth round. Good snapping right hand again by Stewart, who works that uppercut very, very well. WBA light heavyweight championship, end of round 4. Live in Indianapolis, we start round 5. Been a good action fight. Marvin Johnson trying to become the first man in history to win the light heavyweight championship on 3 occasions against Leslie Stewart of Trinidad. Johnson in the white trunks, Stewart in the green. Both men have landed effective blows. Johnson came out very aggressively, as is his trademark early on. But Stewart has shown good quick hands, good boxing skill, and a very good chin, because Marvin's been able to land some shots, as has Stewart. So much made over the years about that uppercut that left by Johnson. Stewart with a pretty good one himself. Johnson, of course, a natural southpaw, left-handed. Some concern when we talked to Stewart yesterday. Not fear, but concern about fighting a lefty, in as much as he fought only one preparatory to this fight. That cut now, which they had done some good work on after the first round, begins to open up a bit. Just outside the right eye of Leslie Stewart. A cut that was opened by Johnson in the first round. Johnson arm punching and slapping a bit more than he did early. Round 5, a reminder, U.S. Figure Skating Championships, and you'll see continuing coverage of that event, the men's and the pairs competition, coming your way on Wide World of Sports following boxing. Same day Women's Slalom World Cup also on Wide World. Under a minute now to go in round 5. Schedule for 15. Johnson still stalking. Give Marvin Johnson a lot of credit. It began to appear at the end of round 3, as I stated, that Stewart was in the process of taking full command of this fight, but Johnson won't let it happen. Good round for Marvin here in round 5. Been a beauty so far. 5th round now ending. coverage from Indianapolis continues. Al Michaels reporting from ringside as Marvin Johnson in the white trunks and Leslie Stewart in the green trunks have at it for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship. The crowd, obviously a pro-Johnson crowd, very much into the fight here at Market Square Arena in downtown Indianapolis. Johnson, born, raised, lives here, now a deputy sheriff in Marion County. Again, Johnson using that right jab, as we stated earlier, more as a range finder than anything else. Not a stiff jab, not a particularly potent jab. Likes to use it to set up the left. And to set up the left uppercut if he can. Throwing some wild lefts here. Shortly, it becomes a question now of stamina for both, and in particular for Johnson, as he approaches his 32nd birthday, and after a furious early pace in this fight, especially in round one. Pace slowing here in round 6 on the part of both fighters. The ropes by Stewart. Johnson trying to come in with that left hand, and Stewart, as he's proven since the latter stages of round one, very effective in punching his way off the rope and countering over that left hand. But that cut again has now opened up outside the right eye of Leslie Stewart. Blood perhaps inspiring Johnson a little bit more. Now the blood really streaming down. Johnson. And they're going to take a look at the cut. The referee, Priami, who, as I say, does not speak English, is motioning Johnson, who has Stewart's blood streaming down his right arm. He summons the ring physician, Dr. William Tutchall, in to take a look at the cut. Now, early on, there was a cut outside the right eye of Stewart. Blood now streaming down the left side of his face as well. The ring doctor has taken a look. Very reminiscent of the Matthew Saad Muhammad confrontation when he was cut over both eyes when he was known as Matthew Franklin in his fight with Johnson. But they let it continue with blood streaming and no doubt somewhat obscuring the vision of Leslie Stewart as the round ends. We start the 6th round, the 7th round here in Indianapolis. Stewart's corner just above me, so I was looking at the work they were doing between rounds, and he has now been cut near both eyes, the left and the right, and the one on the left eye appears to be the more serious of the two. The cut outside the right eye had been opened in round 1, and they did not fully close the cut near the left eye now, and that begins to stream here in round 7. Johnson, sensing a possible ending, picking up the pace, coming out quickly paced here in the 7th round. performance by Marvin Johnson of Indianapolis, who makes boxing history by becoming the first man to win the light heavyweight championship of the world 3 separate times. Twice now he has been the WBA champion. On the other occasion, he was the WBC champion. He came out in typically Johnson-like fashion in the first round. In the second round, then Stewart, I felt, appeared to be on the verge of assuming command. He looked very confident at Stewart in round 3, but Johnson was able to pick up the pace again in the middle round, and after a cut had been opened outside the right eye of Stewart, another cut was opened off his left eye, and that proved to be his undoing, as the referee, Franco Priali, had to step in after he had summoned the ring doctor in round 6. He did not need to summon the ring doctor in 7. He had seen enough. Stewart could not continue. Johnson wins the fight.
The winner and the first man in the history of the sport.
The official announcement being made right now.
Championship 3 times. Indianapolis is
So Marvin Johnson is the WBA light heavyweight champion. We'd like to alert our local stations along the line. We are about to be giving you a station break. So Stewart suffers the first loss of his career, and Johnson is the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, and will return to Indianapolis, Indiana, right after this word from our local station.
Let's swing around.
A raucous crowd at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. Marvin Johnson, not only fighting out of Indianapolis, but born and raised here and wants to live here for the rest of his life. We said before, he's a deputy sheriff now in Marion County, Indiana. And they love it. This crowd at Market Square Arena, as Johnson makes boxing history. If you joined us late, we'll be able to take a look at some of the highlights of this fight. We're attempting to get Marvin to work his way down to our position here. And we'll get an opportunity to talk to a man who, for the first time, wins a 3rd light heavyweight championship. Marvin, have a seat, and let's get a word. Congratulations to you. Compare, if you could, the way you feel right now as opposed to the way you feel the first time you won the light heavyweight championship.
God Almighty has blessed me, without a doubt. I got to give praise. All praises go to my God. I'm not in a Muslim, so I don't call him Allah or Buddha or nothing like that. But Almighty God has blessed me to become 3-time champion of the world. Many people didn't think I could do it. Many people, I understand, atheists, been sticking voodoo needles in me and other countries to cause me to lose. But my God was greater.
Let me ask you, let's go back and review almost round by round this fight. You came out typically Johnson-like in round 1. Were you trying to knock him out? Were you trying to end it early? Did you feel that was your best chance to win?
To start with, I didn't have intentions to knock him out. I had intentions only to put pressure on him. But I found that I could connect good with my left hand. And so when I connected him, a good solid punch, I thought I'd try it again. And then I felt that I might be able to even take him out here in the first round. So I continued to try.
Did you honestly feel at any point, and I'm thinking in particular toward the end of the 3rd round when he unleashed a pretty good combination, that he was very much going to get back into this fight?
No, I felt like that, yeah, his confidence kind of boosted a little bit because he did connect with some good combinations. But I had my sparring partner, Ron Esser, connected with good combinations in the gym. And my mind reflected back to that, and I was able to recover from it. So it wasn't no problem to me.
All right, what next for you now? When will you defend this title?
J. Russell Phelps. This is the man to talk to. He's the man that led me to the top when nobody else thought I was qualified. All the promoters, Don King, Bob Arrow, none of them were fool with me. But Dave Russell Phelps said, hey, he still got it. So I'm leaving it up to him to guide me the next way. This is the man. If any young fighters want to go to the top like I did, go to this man. He's a fair man. He'll be fair with you.
You've written history. We congratulate you, sir. Okay.
I appreciate it. I'm on my way to another big one.
Marvin Johnson, WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, will be back in Indianapolis in just a moment. Leslie, I know how disappointed you feel. Do you feel that you would have won the fight had it not been stopped on the cuts?
Well, if the cuts hadn't occurred, I think my chances would have been good because I realized he was getting tired. I wasn't working as much as I could work. I know this, but I realized he was getting tired, and it was part of my strategy to let him punch a little bit, but it wasn't part of my strategy to allow him to use his head, which he did.
I sensed almost a transition phase of this fight at the end of the third round. You unleashed a good combination. It appeared you were on the brink of taking command of this fight. Did you feel that this fight would pretty much go your way at that point?
Yeah, there were times in the fight when I thought I had command, and I let up for some reason, maybe pacing myself, but I let up, and maybe I underestimated him. Maybe he was out, maybe he wasn't. So I caught him with some good shots, and his legs buckled, and I just didn't follow through. And I stood still too long, and he came in and used his head. But I gave him credit. He won. He cut me. The way he cut me wasn't, to me personally, wasn't lawfully. But what can I say? He won, and I give him credit.
Great action in this one. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much,
Appreciate it very
Al.
much.
I'd just like to say to all the fans who are watching that I'll be back. And to the folks in Trinidad and Tobago, we missed this one, but I'll be back, and I hope your support hasn't diminished or changed because of this loss. It's my first in 18 fights, and again, give Marvin credit for his experience. He used it well.
You're a gentleman and a sportsman. Leslie Stewart, we'll be back. We'll review this fight, but right now we're going to check in with Jim McKay and get this report on